Hey guys, welcome back to the Premier Star League. We're going to go into the next match. This is the fourth match in round one of season one. So this is still the round of 8. A lot of numbers in there to try to remember for where we're at. But this is, in my opinion, the best match so far. It's going to be Scan against Snow. Cannot wait to see it. Going to be fantastic. I've been reading a lot of the feedback. Those first 3 episodes I recorded all together. This one is a brand new one that we're going to test. A lot of people were talking about the audio. Now, just to let you know, there is no clean feed, at least as of right now. So if I record with the in-game audio, then it also has Korean voices. So we're going to try that out today. Please do leave me your feedback as to whether or not you like it more than the last 3 videos. So if you watch the last 3 videos, watch this whole video and then leave a comment. I want to see how you feel after actually watching it. I tried to balance the sound well for this, and we'll see if it's a good level. Like, I'm trying to make it so you can hear that background sound, but the Korean voices are like balanced pretty loudly against that. So anyways, I do hope that this is a bit of an improvement, and if not, we'll go back the other way, and if it's not worth it altogether, we'll just skip. So whatever it might be. Anyways, moving forward here. Here is our map pool. Neodark Origin being banned, as well as Vermeer. So certainly Scan banning Neodark Origin, and Vermeer being banned by Snow, no doubt. Now, Radon, Apocalypse, and Polypoid going to be our 3 maps for these 2 absolute badasses to go on to. Oops. Sorry, a little bit of audio issues here. Still working on it. But yeah. So that's going to be the maps that we're going to be looking at. Hopefully it's going to be a nice close series. You know, I hope that we do get to go to Polypoid as well, since I really do love that map and the TVPs that we can see on it. So anyways, yeah, we are getting into it. And yeah, once again, thanks everyone for tuning into ArtosisCasts and checking this out. If you like the Premier Star League, I'm happy that you like it. So far, it's not been doing great as far as viewership goes, but that's okay. I do need to know, though, if people prefer the type of audio setting that we're going to be having today. Yeah, just as one more little side thing, you can see Scan there, of course. Everyone's favorite Terran pro gamer. I'm very happy to see him in this top 8 of this first PSL season, of the first round of it, at least. You know, Scan's been working so hard and did make it back into SSL, formerly known as ASL, this season. Didn't make it very deep, but you know what? He is in ridiculously good shape right now. So excited to see what he's going to be able to pull off here against Snow. You can see he's just kind of focusing himself right now. I find myself a little bit giddy. And then, of course, we have Snow over here. Snow, you know, probably the strongest Protoss vs. Terran player in the world. Probably the favorite overall of this first round. You know, we have some strong players. Like, I think Zealot, Art User, Royal, Scan, all these guys are of the level where they might be able to do something here against Snow. But, you know, he is probably just a little bit stronger than they are. So, yeah. We'll be getting this started pretty quickly here. You can see the PC Cafe behind. People are asking which PC Cafe it is at. I'm actually not entirely sure. I know it's near Sedang, but all right, let's go ahead and get into this game. Okay, here we go. This is going to be, of course, on Radon. We have Scan here in the bottom right, and in that top right, we are going to have Snow. Okay, so Radon, Terran vs. Protoss. What can we really say about this? I think it's a pretty good map for this matchup, honestly. You know, it started out, and like a lot of people have told me that they think that it's very difficult for Terran vs. Protoss. I don't know if everyone really thinks that anymore. It actually feels pretty standard and pretty good. Most everything's flat. Obviously, we have the raised mains and the raised 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, but just having flat bases to attack can be very good for Terran, because it's really hard to get the vision that you need without wasting things like scans to be able to siege up bases. But yeah, it's got nice big open mains, so you have plenty of room to build all your factories and things like that. A good amount of buildable terrain in the center. Not everything's buildable, but a lot of it has little spots for like missile turrets and stuff, which is nice. It does feel like you can close yourself off against things like recalls reasonably well. You know, it's going to take a lot, but you can do it. So, yeah, you know, I think it's a good solid map, and we have really good Terran versus Protosses on here so far. I think when it gets cross spawn, it can be a bit tough, but they're vertical spawn here. Now, Snow going towards Scan's base right now, and Scan, in fact, gonna grab that gas, and that is a nice early gas grab. That was a 136, so he's actually optimizing his mining really very well. He's gonna be able to get that factory up super fast, but Snow's probe is coming up, so that's gonna be a little bit annoying. And in fact, what normally happens here, you can see Scan wants to scout. He'll turn this SCV around. He's not gonna scout with the probe coming in, I don't think. Yeah, okay, so he turns around and chases the probe. Basically, if the probe comes in as your SCV is leaving, you just have to turn the SCV around. If you don't, then basically your economy falls apart. Even bringing one more SCV off of minerals here slows your factory and your second depot so dramatically, like you just can't get them on time. But, you know, if you just skip scouting instead, you can just scout a little bit later and just kind of play a little bit safe, right? So we'll see if Scan goes to the north or to the left. It looks like he's going to end up going to the left, unfortunately. There's the factor in the way, and Snow actually trying to put some damage on that Marine, but actually messes that up a little bit. Doesn't get the damage. Scan scouting in the wrong direction, so that'll be a little bit frustrating for him. He'll probably end scout here, but yeah, like the odds of the probe getting there that quickly from a cross scout is a little bit low, I think. So we'll see if Scan sends that cross and actually gets to see Snow second. Either way, though, you do have to play a little bit carefully because there could be a Zealot on the way right now. Now, we can see, of course, that there's not. In fact, this is just a very fast Nexus, like probably before range. But Scan's going to take a while to get up there. And you can see Snow has actually followed the SCV and trying to get that moving shot. Scan doing a reasonably good job of trying to get away. And Snow actually closing the distance. Oh, man. It looks like Snow, yeah, almost gets that SCV. The SCV going to be able to escape, but zero scouting so far from Scan. And in fact, I think he went bunker first. Oh, no, he went for Marines instead. Okay, so he went for Marines, and I believe he just started his third depot. So there's going to be a little bit of a supply blockage there for a while. Yeah, 26 to 26. There's not a whole lot you can do against that, right? And the thing is, you can make the depot. It slows down the command center a little bit, which is uncomfortable if your opponent made the Nexus. But the 4th Marine is kind of non-negotiable in a situation like this. If a Zealot and a Dragoon come and you have 3 Marines, you might actually lose the game completely at that point. So kind of happy to see that he has played this game a little bit more safely. Now, a second Dragoon coming. Is Scan making a bunker? I believe that he is right now. And, of course, that bunker going to be very, very helpful. And oh, he's not actually. Just utilizing the SC for a little bit of extra damage. So things could go wrong. He's repairing a little bit. The 4 Marines and the Vulture, if there's not any micro from the Dragoons, actually end up winning with that SCV there as well. But with micro, it is a little bit of a back and forth. So right now, the SCV finally getting up here and getting into the main base. And in fact, he even saw the Robo. So that was a very solid scout. I'm actually really surprised he got it in like that. And now we have a siege tank out. So Scan should be pretty happy about this situation. He hasn't had to make a bunker. I believe I see a second factory being made there as well. Mines should be done any time now. And as mines get done and he kind of pokes around, lays some mines down, that's going to feel very good for him to be able to keep track of what's where. And 2 more gateways coming up. Now, I think the reason why Snow has done this is because Scan was so adamant not to get a bunker. When you see someone trying this hard not to get a bunker, it means that they're trying to get that second factory out and keep that unit production really, really high. So if there's going to be a 2-factory pressure, the absolute best thing you can do against that is to just go 3-gate observer. You're just going to have easily enough units to push that back. And we'll see how Scan actually kind of bends his way out of this position. Like, is this going to be something where he's across the map with his units and he ends up losing them all because of the amount of Dragoons? Is he going to be able to scout that in time? Is he going to be safe just sitting at home? You can see that he has laid some very important mines basically in all the paths at the 2 possible third bases, a couple paths for walking, well, 1 path for walking specifically. I believe he has 1 down in front of his base, and the 2 vultures were actually spread. They kind of look like mines on the map there, and that's to help watch for shuttles. That's like an important thing to do early on with your vultures. Now, the Marines and siege tanks are moving out. Now, notice how he's moving them to the left. This is to avoid any incoming observers. An observer that goes straight across the map will miss this line that they're on most of the time. Speed is now done as well. The Dragoons going across the map. This is actually a very exciting moment. Scan knows he's there. Snow doesn't know. So Scan gets on top of Snow right now and pushing those Dragoons back. Now, there's no mines directly behind the Dragoons. The observers walk up and start laying down, or they start laying down some mines as Snow micros really, really heavily here. And he will end up picking off a siege tank. This is very good micro from Scan, though. He's laying a bunch of mines. The SCV might have gotten in the way just a little bit right there, but he's going to end up killing basically all of these Dragoons. So this looks extremely successful. Excuse me. This was a very, very good push from Scan. The fact that he has reduced this Dragoon count so significantly, ooh, even gets the mine drag into that Dragoon, which might end up getting picked off, might not. Now, the thing is, there's not really a follow-up like attack that's going to happen right now. Very likely what will happen is Scan will back up and he'll defend a little bit. He should be assuming that Reaver is the next step because he has vision of those other possible thirds. And if your opponent hasn't already sent a probe to take a third, you know that some sort of Robotech is coming. He already saw the Robo. He already saw the Observer. So that has to mean Reaver. There would be nothing else going on right now. So he's going to defend against Reaver. In the meantime, Snow starting to clean out some of these mines. His third base going to be pretty late, which in and of itself is an accomplishment here for Scan. Anytime you can slow down Protoss bases, that's very, very helpful. Now, he does clear out that one spot for a Nexus, and the 2 Vultures running around, are they going to be able to slip in? No, Snow has it all tied up very tightly. So no real chance to get some harassment in there. And going up to 5 factory, there's the Academy. There are some missile turrets in here. You know, he might follow it up with a 5 factory. That is definitely a possibility. Goon production has been cut a little bit to afford the Reaver, the Shuttle, the Nexus, all that stuff. So there's actually not that many Dragoons. Now, out comes the Reaver. Oh my god, he actually got hit? That's a very rare circumstance for Snow. Snow normally is very much on top of lifting up his Reaver. I think that the mine's very well placed. Obviously, you can see Scan with some ridiculous defense there. Great turrets, great mines, great siege tanks. 4th gate coming up for Snow, and I think he saw enough factories and he sees that there's no 3rd command center. You probably want to go 6 gateway here, realistically. 6 gateway plus Robo. It's kind of the way that you hold on against a push like this. And after those 6 gates, you might want to think about putting that Citadel down. Of course, Zealot legs that's one of the most important things that you have to help hold on against this. Now, the Shuttle goes back. Looks like he wants to pick up another one. And in fact, he throws down a 7th gateway and the Citadel. So this is some real serious business here from Snow. He really wants to make sure he's not going to be dying to this push. By the way, we can see some more missile turrets going up. A 6th factory? Is that a 6th factory from Scan? All right. Well, very nice right there. He is really kind of going a little bit all in with this push. He's not going to have a single mineral to spare with a build like this. Of course, the 4 Goliath's going to be very good at picking off shuttles, at keeping that kind of back. And Zealot legs is a ways off. If Scan can get all the way up to the choke point, that's kind of in between the natural and 3rd bases of Snow, that's going to put him into great shape. But if Snow can slow this down a little bit and get his Zealot legs going, then suddenly this push is not looking anywhere near as strong. Now look at that. He can actually hit the missile turret from low ground. I actually wasn't aware that Dragoons had that type of range right there. But now that Snow's out of position, Scan just starts pushing really quickly. This was a bit of a mistake from Snow. That was a little bit over greedy to go over to the side. Scan made it almost halfway up to that natural area, and in fact picks off both the Reavers very quickly. Snow is desperately trying to slow down this push and is right now unable to do so. Okay. Wow, Scan getting into position to possibly kill this third base off. And if he can kill this third base, like, he's just straight up ahead. He may need to defend at home. I think the important thing here is to kind of keep a track of what is behind your army, and then maybe use your army plus your reinforcements to kind of crush that. Now, the barracks looks like it'll be picked off. Not a big deal. He already has what he needs from the barracks. He's not going to need a 7th factory for a very long time. He already has his academy. Right now, Snow pushing back a bunch of these mines. I think Scan... I don't know if he's started a command center. It doesn't look like it based on the mini-map. But that is going to be the next thing that I think he wants to do here. Now, Reaver crawling out. The Nexus taking very high damage. Oh my gosh. Okay, here comes this shuttle just flying in right now, dropping zealots all over those siege tanks. And it looks... Oh my god, is he going to save that Nexus? Well, we actually have Scan's reinforcements coming up. It's not that many siege tanks, though. He definitely needs to target the siege tanks onto some of these Dragoons. And in fact, he is. He's dealing a lot of damage to those Dragoons. He saves one siege tank. I think he might still be able to kill the Nexus. I would love for the Observer to click on that Nexus to see exactly how much health is left. But, like, you kind of need to secure the kill on the Nexus. If you secure the kill on the Nexus, you should be able to win from there. But if you do not... I mean, maybe you're not super far behind or anything, but it's not nearly as good a push. So he's got the Nexus down to about 350 health. That's not that much. Vulture's rotating over to that 4th base, making sure there's no probe there, relaying those mines as well. Very, very annoying for Snow to have to deal with. Looks like we have a 2nd armory, which means Science Facility should be on the way here to get more upgrades. That's crazy, man. A 2-base 2-2 is going to be on the way. Setting up these missile turrets, lots of SCVs out here. Going to inch these tanks forward to go ahead and try to bust down this Nexus. And I think Snow just has to run. I think he is still going to lose this Nexus here, despite that very nice break. Excuse me. Now, yeah, he's hitting the Nexus, and you see Snow going to give up on it. No real way to stop this. His speed shuttle going to try to dart past. Drops this out here as he sees an SCV approaching. Maybe that is for the command center. The command center might be being built on high ground. I feel like I see a command center dot in the top of Scan's main base. If not, then maybe it's a science facility, but one or the other. So hopefully he does have that command center on the way, but right now Scan doing a very excellent job kind of defending this position. Now, does he try to escape with these units? Does he just entrench them a little bit more? It's hard to say. By the way, the whole bottom left of the map unchecked, but an unlikely place for Snow to try to expand to because it's so far away. Now, Snow coming up, trying to bust this once again, but Scan sieging up, laying his mines, pushing everything back, and he's connected now. His 3rd base area connects to this very easily, and now he has this alternate push path that he could go up, but he can also save those units rather easily. So he's kind of denied that. Coming out now, trying to attack into what Snow has left. Ooh, that shuttle takes a ton of damage. Excuse me, not going to be able to do too much more with that now. This push forward, I'm kind of wondering, like, does he just meet everything in the center and push up towards that 4th base? Now, he starts the 3rd command center at, like, almost 15 minutes. That's incredibly late. But with how this game has gone, it seems reasonable, right? Like, he killed off the 3rd base of Snow. He's starting his own 3rd. There is a new 3rd base of Snow that's mining. That's fine. These are kind of normal timings. He does have 2-2 on the way, I believe, because we saw that 2nd armory, so it would be very shocking if he did not. Snow standing just outside of Scan's army, starts his own 4th Nexus, knows that this is what he needs. Excuse me. And Scan continuing to push up, puts some damage onto that shuttle, but loses some Goliaths also. He actually unsieges here. Wow, that's a scarab from downtown right there. Kind of follows that Vulture back, dealing some additional damage. Scan going out in a little bit of like a fanned arc here. Now, I feel like there's 2 possibilities. One is Scan continuing to push up the map. 2 is Scan trying to take a 4th base down at 6 o'clock. So it definitely could be either of those. A lot of High Templars coming out for Snow right now. Some additional missile turrets being set up by Scan. I love the amount of missile turrets he has, really making it difficult for Snow to keep any sort of pressure on with these shuttles. That's been something very important we've seen lately. People have not been skimping on turrets. Feels like people were skimping for a bit, but it doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Scan pushing up towards the center. We haven't really looked at the buildings that are in the natural area, but it actually looks to me like there might be a 4th command center there. Can't be 100% sure, but like above the natural command center, there's a shape that really looks like it's a command center itself. So hopefully we'll check that out at some point here. Now, the shuttle flying over towards this 3rd base, Snow finding kind of an interesting path in, but gets caught. Oh my god, so many probes getting caught on here, transferring over to the other base. A single Zealot gets into the 3rd and not going to be able to find too much damage there either. These vultures might end up getting trapped, laying some offensive mines here as the flank comes up. That was actually a good call from him. There was only 3 Dragoons. So I was like, oh, you can dive on that and kill that and cancel those cannons out. But actually, the Dragoons would have sandwiched him there. So probably a good call as he pulls back with those vultures and saves most of them. Rotating some other vultures up through that 3rd base as well. You can see that Snow's starting to get a little bit low on minerals. He doesn't have that many probes. His main is empty. He's going to try to get some more probes up to this base. Now, unfortunately for him, Scan is kind of waiting. There, those probes go by the mines, but Scan not going to be able to catch those, I think. Actually, he does turn them around. Some Dragoons rotating around there as well. Ooh, you know, Snow is actually broke enough that killing mines with Scarabs probably is not a good move for him at this point in the game. Yeah, he's going to move his Dragoons up to help clear out the rest of that. And does Scan have his 2-2 now? He has 2-1. 2-1, so that's really, really good. I'm sure 2-2 is pretty close. Lot of Zealots over here. So a lot of speed Zealots, but they did eat some mines, so a lot of these are hurt. Okay, that's the 4th command center on location, so I'm not sure what those other buildings are down there. Maybe the barracks, something like that in that area. And Snow trying to bring his army around a little bit, but Scan already has a very good setup here. Look at this. He tries to drop out High Templars, but they actually get sniped down pretty quickly here. And Snow taking a decently good engagement, but Scan keeping most of his siege shanks pretty far back, making it really hard for these Psy Storms to hit what they need. This feels so smothering right now, watching Scan do this to Snow. Now, Scan going to get his 4th base up and mining, a lot of SCVs going there. 3 add-ons, like to see it, so lots of siege shanks being produced. Lots of Goliaths in here as well. And he's going to be able to pick off those shuttles very, very quickly indeed, which stops some of the Psy Storms. Up comes some High Templars. Scan comes from the side, and GG is called. Beautifully done right there from Scan. Winning game 1 here against Snow. And that's a pretty big victory. Okay, I got to say, that is an awesome first game. He's got to be feeling good right now. He's got the hardest bracket. He's got to go up against Snow in that round of 8. Scan, clearly one of the top 4 players in this tournament right now. But yeah, right now with that winning edge against Snow. Snow is going to have to really kind of buckle down in these following maps. I'm trying to remember what the maps were. Apocalypse was next for sure, and then Polypoid. Yeah. So, excuse me, some reasonable maps. Definitely a good Reaver map in Apocalypse. And we'll see if that is going to kind of pay off for him. So, wow. All right. Scan winning game 1. And we're going to go into those maps and take a look at what those are going to look like. Okay, sorry. We're going to be checking out the players here in just a second as we get ready to go into our second map, Apocalypse. Scan with that 1 victory. Snow's going to have to come back very, very strong. I think Apocalypse is a great map for his skill set specifically. Lots of entry points for shuttles. Very hard to defend that type of play. And we definitely have some very good terrain changes where you have to go uphill, where a Protoss player can kind of defend an incoming push, a lot better in that early and early mid game. And of course, that is how we saw that victory taken there by Scan. So Scan here, you see staying calm. He's cracking his fingers a little bit here, getting ready for a very tough series still to come. But just some excellent, excellent play there. You can really see just how much he's improving lately, right? Like, if you remember back his very first ASL visit, he did end up getting eliminated by Snow in a very one-sided game on Eclipse. And nowadays, here he is in the Premier Star League, taking down Snow in game number 1, looking poised to get into that round of 4, which would be a huge, huge result for him as well. You know, Scan has done very well. He got first place in CNSL 2 seasons ago, runner-up last season, made his second ASL. You know, he's a second place from ACS before. He's really starting to rack up quite a few big tournament placements. And of course, Snow, likewise, you know, he's been second in ASL, one of the best in the world. Hasn't won a Star League as of yet, but maybe the Premier Star League is going to be his first really big victory. We shall see about that. But anyways, he is preparing right now for this next map. And of course, Apocalypse, you know, well, we've already talked about Apocalypse a fair amount. Anyways, I hope that you guys are enjoying. We are getting in to the next game. Here we go. And in the bottom left, we have Scan. And up in the top center, we have Snow. All right, all right. I am definitely very ready here. This has been a pretty popular map for Nexus First, but that being said, Snow is not the type to go Nexus First very often. I think he's a player that wants to get into his tech more quickly. I feel like Reaver players in general don't like Nexus First as much. I think just because like it does slow that down a little bit, and there's a certain level of comfort, of safety that you feel if you're a very strong Reaver type player. Of course, it's always an important thing to be able to mix in the different various builds and everything, but we'll see if that's what Snow is up to as we watch his minerals build. Will he make that gateway, or will he just bank up a little bit? Now, Scan, on the other hand, based on that first depot, my best guess is that this will be a factory expansion. You can go gasless on this map for sure. A lot of people were going for it for a while. I feel like gasless expansion, there are definitely a lot of cheeses against it that can be pretty strong. But it feels to me like most pros right now are going more so for factory expands. But actually, as he moves and puts his barracks up at the front there, that's actually a really good location if you want to go for a barracks expand, you know, a gasless expansion, the other name of it here. We'll see if he takes that gas momentarily. And it looks like he's not going to. He's actually queued up an additional SCV. He would have already had the 100 minerals. So this is going to, in fact, be that gasless expansion. Kind of lucky for him, Snow is going to scout him second. We'll keep an eye out to see if a Zealot is going to pop out of that gateway and start making its way down to Scan. One thing to note, you know, there are some very strong proxy robo and proxy gateway all-ins that happen against gasless expansions. You guys might remember Bisu bringing one out in the last ASL season that was super strong against C, if I'm recalling correctly, or maybe it was 2 seasons ago. But anyways, definitely a very, very strong build, and it became really popular for a bit. But we'll see. This is a double depot opener, so a very safe version of gasless expansion. And this Marine going to be able to push that pro back. And this, oh, that rally through, taking 2 hits. The 2 hits actually makes it so that this will now die to 3 goon hits instead of 4, or 2 zealot hits instead of 3. So 2 probe hits is a very good number to get on a Marine. Now, I don't think that's going to come up. You know, he's got this SCV in his main base, kind of taking a look. I don't think that we're gonna have that Marine in any real fight here. He checks, no range as of yet. Very important to check. Scan has his command center finished. Dragoon not out yet, but should be out any second. Normally comes out about 3:10, 3:12, right around there. And out comes the first Dragoon. So the Dragoon is coming across the map, and Snow is definitely ready to make a Nexus. You could see Scan kind of blocking that a little bit. 3 Marines going to be a great number for him. Doesn't want to make any more as of right now. And of course, he doesn't have a scout on the map at this second. He might use the Bunker SCV. Sometimes players will send that Bunker SCV right after it finishes, because it's going to finish just in the nick of time. And you can see that's actually exactly what he does. So the Bunker SCV, excuse me, this SCV is going to try to go up the map to see exactly what's happening. So he kind of scouted a proxy location first. You can see he's like, okay, do you have anything sneaky down there? No? Okay. Now he'll probably make a beeline to check if there's a Nexus or not. Range on the way here for Snow, so he's going to want to put a little bit of damage onto the bunker and cause some repairing. I think that's always a good move. He has his robo being made. I'd be pretty darn surprised if he doesn't go Reaver here. But he might open up Observer first. I've seen some people go like 2-gate Observer into third, into Reaver. That's a pretty popular way to play, whether your opponent goes gasless expansion or not. But I do feel like it's a little bit weaker against this type of play from Scan. Now, Scan's SCV going to get up and see the timing on that Nexus is completely normal. The probe's already being sent. Dragoon tries to catch him. Dude, just seeing that robo is so big. That is so, so big. And in fact, the Dragoons are going to start hitting this bunker in a second. And that's going to tell him he doesn't need missile turrets. So that's a huge moment there for Scan. Seeing that robo, having range finish, those two things together, like really give him a lot of leeway. He knows where all the gas is. It's not like there could be Dark Templars as well as that robo, as well as this range, as well as that Nexus. So Scan right now going double add-on on his factories. We'll see if he goes into siege mode or not to push these Dragoons back. I do believe he's going to have to, since 3 Dragoons are already up here. Once there gets to be 4, it's very dangerous to try to poke it back with just a siege tank. Snow looking like he's getting ready for a very, very fast third base. So, yeah, it's looking to me like this is going to be a 1-gate ranged Goon Reaver into 3 Nexuses, which is a really, really strong way to play. By the way, Starport coming up. Scan has really liked that Wraith meta that we've talked about some on this channel, of you see the robo and then get a Wraith pretty quickly to try to parry the shuttles in that way. Kind of funny watching him take those off the bunker. Like, don't let that mess up. The Dragoon's getting pushed back reasonably well. Second Zealot just popped out, so Snow's going to be just about ready to go with this Reaver. Now, not a full wall with those pylons as of yet. Getting that Nexus going. Snow being very, very greedy. I really like this as his follow-up here. And we're going to see, is Scan going to try a push? Like, he needs to block this Reaver basically perfectly. The Reaver's going to fly in, and he's not going to have any idea, man. He's not ready for this even a little bit. Now, there is a Wraith making, but it's not ready yet. Wow, that is one messed up Scarab right there. And there is another one. Actually doesn't get any kills as of yet. There you go. That makes up for everything. 6 kills. Another one going down. And, ooh, gets a couple of the Marines in there as well. So very, very messy trying to deal with this right now. Where is that Wraith? That's the big question. There it is. So he is going to be able to clean this up. But there's still a lot of damage that can be dealt here. So down goes the siege tank right there. And he does end up picking it off. Okay, he doesn't get as much as I thought he would with that Reaver right at the end. But he did kill the siege tank. He did kill a fair amount of workers as well. And now Scan has purchased a Starport and a Wraith. Excuse me. And we're going to see what he's able to actually do with those moving forward here, right? Or is he going to be able to get some drops off? Is that just going to be utilized for upgrades? Is the Wraith going to be good enough defense against speed shuttles coming in from multiple angles? That's the thing. It's like, in theory, the Wraith is very good, but if you don't see where the shuttle comes in, the damage might be done before the Wraith gets there, right? So that can actually be a very tricky thing as well, making that Wraith counter those shuttles as well as it seems like it should. Now, a couple goons getting picked off as Scan kind of pokes out the front of his area. Snow right now on 5 gateways, has that Citadel up, so definitely getting ready for more. Ooh, double Vulture run by. Oh my god, this might be a lot of damage. Scan getting up into this main base. Already 3 probes, 4 probes. Looks like we're going to get a little bit more too. 5 probes. 6 probes. Can you get one more? I don't think so. Yeah, it is going to go down, but 6 probes, really, really good. He did lose like 7, 8 workers himself, so definitely Snow is ahead economically still, but that was good. That was the type of move that you're actually looking for. A couple more vultures out here, but Snow catches those. 2 more rotating towards where this 3rd base might be, and in fact, he does see that. It's all set up, so no real way for him to harass it at the moment. The shuttle going back for the Reaver. I bet you that Reaver, or rather shuttle speed, I like calling it Reaver speed sometimes because that's really what it's for. But I bet you shuttle speed is on the way and probably not that far off from finishing. Definitely one of the best upgrades there for Snow. You can see kind of a zone defense of the Wraith Engineering Bay finishing up so he can make some turrets as well. I don't believe that there's any timing attack that could ever possibly open up here for Scan. I think he's going to have to go 3rd base and go towards Max. Snow getting ready to take a 4th base right now. I think as things calm down a little bit, he's going to realize that he's in a pretty strong spot. Now, here's that dropship, right? We were wondering before, was he going to get a lot of use out of this starport that he made for that Wraith? Obviously, already the Wraith has done reasonably well. Dropship trying to fly in, but already cannons are in place in both these mineral lines that are kind of a little more open. Scan going to try to fly around and find a way in still. See if he can drop those vultures off and cause some damage. Pretty good SCV count at home for Scan as well. Okay, in come these vultures. Yeah, they only get like 1 there, but sometimes you can run around still and get a little bit. It looks like Snow is pretty quick to respond with Dragoons going over. So that's not going to happen. Armory is a spinning. That 4th Nexus is just about to start. We can see if you look at the minimap, he's got this all prepped. And definitely going to want to get that started as well. But we don't actually see the 3rd command center yet, so Snow does not necessarily need to start his 4th Nexus. You don't actually need to pressure a 2-base Terran. They're already under pressure against 3 base. Right, you have almost 50% more mining than them, which is a pretty big deal. Now, in comes Snow. He forces an unsiege here as his speed zealots go forward. Is this Scan's whole army? He must have units in the main base still. Yeah, a few more siege tanks coming out of that main base. The bunker is actually doing a really good job, but that's an insane Scarab hit there. These tanks so clumped together. And he does not even siege all of them. He sieges 2 in the back. He does force everything back. The Wraith finally comes up as well. Probably wasn't hotkeyed, so it took him a moment to bring that up. 4th Nexus is on the way for Snow. And he's actually, there's 2 Wraiths now, okay. I think 2 Wraiths is actually, is quite good. I've seen a lot of people suggest, like, why not get, like, 3 Wraiths, right, and really pound down that shuttle. You can do things like that. Like, I've seen it before. It kind of gives you a slower game in a lot of ways, because they are so expensive, right? Each one is the cost of, like, a siege tank, right? It does make quite a big difference. So he brings them up, and we'll pick off that observer with a nice scan. 4 bases here for Snow with that Nexus coming up, and there's that 3rd command center started around 12 minutes. So that's a late 3rd for a game like this where he hasn't actually dealt damage to Snow. Yeah, he did a little bit of harass, but we're talking he didn't do any substantial damage. If you don't do substantial damage against Protoss, in general, you want your 3rd base mining by 12 minutes, right? That's kind of the line where we look at and say, okay, you're going to be okay if you have it mining by 12 minutes. And actually, right now, that time is kind of speeding up. That's been the general gist of it lately in the, like, a lot of these Reaver heavy metas. But it has been speeding up. We've actually been seeing faster and faster, like 9-minute, 10-minute 3rd bases by a lot of the top Terran pros against some of these more greedy builds that they're playing from Protoss. So Scan's spreading out. He's making a very, very entrenched position. Another factory on the way. He's got his Wraiths kind of helping the side. I do believe his main is a bit open. Yeah, there's not that much over here right now. Now, he bombs by a single missile turret, and it looks like he's going for Psystorm. Not the best drops. Kills, like, maybe 3 SCVs, something like that. Really not that much damage dealt with that Psystorm drop, but it's not the end of the world for Snow or anything like that. It is 160 against 131 supply. Scan continuing to try to get some damage done with his drop. It looks like that's probably the end of drops for him, at least for the foreseeable future. Moving up into a better position. Snow's supply really starting to explode a little bit, and he does get that 5th Nexus down. This is the very important part. That 5th Nexus is going to be what really puts pressure on Scan, who's just going to start getting SCVs to his 3rd Nexus right now, about 2 minutes later than we'd really want to see. So Snow is really taking an edge here in this game. And it looks like he is going to attack down. Leads with those speed zealots, and ooh, was that actually both of his Reavers blowing up? I'm not entirely sure here. Okay, pulls back. That was very good defense from Scan, so that didn't really work out for Snow. Snow still has a massive supply advantage, though. He's up about 50 supply right now, bringing a big army down. And in fact, it looks like he's getting ready to take even more bases. I think he realizes just how much control he's in this game. In fact, even parks that one Reaver over at his new 6th base, and he is going to be taking that other main. So looking very good in that regard. Up come the Wraiths to try to help block this. More Speed Zealots going forward, getting on top of some of these Siege Tanks. Scan is like technically holding on, but look at his supply. Excuse me. If you see a Terran falling to about 100 supply and the Protoss staying up above 150, and that's happening multiple times, the Terran is very close to losing the game. Okay, you really need to maintain, if Protoss is maintaining supply like that, like at lower supplies, if they're both 110 or 120, something like that, that's more okay. But you really want to be maintaining like 140-ish. And Scan is unable to do that right now. Now, Snow coming down, he is going to go ahead and swarm all over these Psystorms everywhere, and GG is called, and that is going to be that. It looks like that is a Snow victory right there, which means we're going to be going to map number 3. Snow taking a little sip of his drink. Definitely very well done. Where did it go wrong for Scan? Well, I think that we had some good pressure coming out of Snow with that Reaver play. Scan's counter harassment was good, but the speed of that 3rd base by Snow while harassing, excuse me, I'm sorry, was something that Scan was not really able to come back from. So we see Scan there a little bit more pensive this time, getting ready for his 3rd map on Polypoid. And yeah, definitely looking very good, Scan is right now. But so is Snow. Now, going into Polypoid, I'm trying to think here. Like, Polypoid is just a good, solid, like, balanced map and gives us a lot of big macro games. So I'm just hoping that that's what we get. I don't want it to be a fast one. All right, so let's go ahead and jump over to the players and get this game going. All right, so Snow sitting there ready. Gonna have to play his game 3. Try to make it to that round of 4. Of course, looking for a bite of that prize money. And his opponent Scan sitting somewhere else in the PC cafe, getting ready as well. Looks like a pretty nice PC cafe, honestly. Those chairs look really comfy. And there's Scan right there. Man, I tell you, seeing the Premier Star League pop up and be this a live event with these open qualifiers that are live and stuff really gets me wiggly, man. That's the type of thing that I absolutely love, you know. There used to be those live qualifiers for the ASL back in the day. They haven't really gone back to that. They've kept them online, but I do love these live qualifiers. Just awesome stuff. And here we go. Set 3 between Scan and Snow going into Polypoid. Okay. In the top left, we have our red Terran player. It is Scan. And in the top right, our blue Protoss. It is Snow. Okay, so how is this one going to end up looking? Polypoid, great macro map. Positionally, nothing really sticks out. Like, I think it's totally fine for Scan here. Not that hard to hold on against anything. Not a great entrance into his main base for speed shuttles or anything like that. And yeah, we're just kind of waiting, of course, to see what these opening build orders are going to show us. If there's going to be anything kind of crazy, are we going to see like a Nexus first? Will it be a gasless expansion again by Scan? Is he going to want to go factory expansion? I didn't mind him trying that gasless expansion on Apocalypse. It is a pretty popular build there, but he was unable to really get himself together after the harassment plus greed of Snow that kind of all happened at once. Really very good play there from Snow. Really good at eking out damage in all these different situations. Now, up goes the gateway for Snow, so we can already tell that this is not going to be any sort of Nexus First type play, and in fact, not even sending out a scout, so probably no Zealot here also. Over on Scan's side, we'll see if that gas is going to get taken, or anything. Wait a minute, is this a command center first from Scan? It is. Oh my god, we're actually going to see a command center first build. Now, Snow's build really looks to me like it's not going to have a Zealot, so you're going to get away with this. That's really the big thing, is that, you know, if you go command center first and your opponent made a Zealot and sends it at you, you are going to be in a world of pain. Like, you're probably just going to lose the game right there. But if they don't make a Zealot, you just get away with it. Isn't that crazy? It's just, if the Zealot comes, everything is just too late, right? Like, a Zealot gets to your base at the same time you have one Marine if they make it. And here, like, obviously your barracks will not even be finished at that point. So Scan goes down. He's making this Sim City. Probably will put a second depot in there as well as a little micro point, but we'll see about that. He is going to need to get a bunker relatively quickly. And definitely get that gas going. So this is a great opener from Scan. If I had to just take a look at the openers and say who's favored, you would... oh, he did make a Zealot? No way. Okay. The thing is, you do sometimes make Zealots in situations like this where you scout late, but more generally, like, the best way to tell if a Zealot's coming is the probe getting to your base really quickly? If the probe ends up at your base really quickly, you generally just assume a Zealot is on the way. If nothing comes, it's like... This is a build where you scout with a probe in one direction and the Zealot to the third base. And that's, you know, it is a build. It's not used that much, but it definitely is a real thing. Now, the Zealot gets here, so Scan in a little bit of trouble. You can see he doesn't have his Marine as of yet. And in fact, he is going to lose one SCV. So already, this is looking pretty good for Snow. I tell you, the difference between... excuse me, the difference between there being a Zealot and none is night and day with a build like this. People don't use Command Center first that often. Honestly, I'm not too surprised to see this, because, oh my god, that surround was insane. Could have been a Warcraft 3 pro gamer. Craziness. That was an insane surround, and very well done. Kills that off, but he did lose multiple SCVs, so that is definitely very painful. The SCV up in the main base here of Snow. He's going to try to keep this alive and check out what type of tech is going to be coming. But yeah, like what I was saying before, one thing to mention is that JYJ and Scan are like really close friends, and JYJ has been using some Nexus first play too. You can actually see a lot of their play kind of in each other in a way, right? It's a pretty common thing to have a close friend that plays your same race and to kind of share some of those strategies between each other, right? Like it's a pretty common thing. I've definitely seen that, like the media Terrans all hung out a lot together and kind of bled into each other's play. It's good to have someone to bounce your ideas off of, and if someone has a similar style, you might just think about things in a similar way as well. Okay, so now we see exactly what's going on. Snow's going to go for a DT drop. Robo on the way, Citadel on the way. A little bit surprised to see. It's not a very common move from Snow. I guess against Snow, you might be more likely to put your missile turrets on the edge of your base. So that's the funny thing about DT drop versus Reaver drop. So DT drop, you actually want the turrets tucked in near your buildings, not on the edge. Reaver drop, you actually want your turrets on the edge, not tucked in the building. So basically, you're trying to stop the Reaver from coming in, because if they sacrifice the shuttle, the Reaver is easy to kill off, right? Whereas if you look at the DTs, it doesn't matter if the shuttle dies. If they drop the DTs out and run past your turrets to the middle of your base where you have no turrets, you're probably going to lose the game. So, yeah, that could, like, just his image as the Reaver guy could play into that. We'll see where Scan ends up putting down turrets. You never know. He might just place them in you know, more tucked back positions anyways. Now, the 3 Dragoons, putting that pressure on, very similar to what we saw in the previous game. Don't forget, what the last time we saw this, like, literally in the previous game, it was a very similar position. And Snow went Reaver into a 3rd base. So, that might be what Scan is kind of preparing for here. Throws a single missile turret down. That's a pretty good turret overall. It kind of blocks everything. And look at this, the Reaver tech right after the DT tech as well. So right now he's just waiting for those Dark Templars to come out, send them across the map there with that shuttle. Now, yeah, here come the DTs. Just a simple 2 DT drop. That's the most common one. You generally don't see 3 or 4 DTs in drops. Once upon a time, maybe, but definitely not anymore. Now, that's a pretty well-placed turret for DT drop, but it's definitely one, like a single siege tank won't be able to stop 2 DTs from killing that turret. No matter how quick you repair, they'll be able to power through that pretty quickly. So here comes that shuttle. Snow gonna fly in. Only a couple siege tanks here. There's the missile turret. Excuse me, siege is up. Snow drops off the 2 DTs. He's trying to draw the attention of Scan elsewhere, I think. So see, he runs up and targets, and look at that, 3 swipes. There's just not too much you can do about that. So now Scan is in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. He has no other detection in here. Definitely was not expecting this move from Snow. And you can see, like, the amount of damage being dealt to him already is pretty astronomical. Going after these missile turrets. Oh, man. Already a ton of kills here. Already more damage than his Reavers normally do. Like, look at this. 7 kills on this one. The top one has a ton of kills as well. And this is, like, SCVs and missile turrets specifically that he's killed. The armory might end up going down. A missile turret finishes. Yeah, he's going to get the armory, I think. Scan starts repairing it. But he's got to build another turret, too. Look at that. Picks off the SCV. Going after the armory once again. Don't forget, he can just lift that off, too. Like, he can pick him up and try to get out. Look at this. There's no missile turret on the side to stop him. Oh, my God. He's going to get the depot now. And look how he drops 1 on either side. He thinks right next to that DT would be seen from the turret, and I'm pretty sure he's right. So he kills a depot here. Scan took a lot of damage, guys. Not looking super hot for him. Snow has gotten his 3rd base up, that mineral-only base on the high ground. Yeah, the DT going to go ahead and clear out this turret that's trying to be started at the front as well. I'm trying to think of, like, a plan for Scan to try to fight back here. He has 5 factories. He has his comsats. He's had to make 1 million turrets. He lost a lot of SCVs. Without any doubt, he's behind. But, you know, I think if you take a 3rd base, you macro well. If Snow is wasteful at all, it might become doable, right? It might, maybe an opportunity opens up where Snow has a bad attack into you, and suddenly you can do a very fast counter push because, you know, he is the horizontal main next to you, as close as you can really get. And if Scan can do that little push and get on top of that high ground, that's something where, yeah, maybe that works out. Now the double Reaver is waiting for him. This is always a surprise if you see a DT drop, if suddenly 2 Reavers are waiting outside your base. It's not that common to go for both these techs. Like, if you go DT drop, a lot of times you just go Psystorm or Arbiter afterwards. And here you can see it's like, now he wants his Reavers anyways. He's going to play a normal game. He just opened up with the DTs. So Snow right now up almost 40 supply. Scan, turret pushing his way out. Did have to utilize some scans in there as well. There are some more DTs that are out for Snow as well. And Zealot legs are already done. So any sort of 2-base timing push, the odds of anything like that working are pretty slim. Don't forget that Scan did lose a fair amount of SCVs, so his army supply comparatively is a little bit higher than what it looks like when you see 90 to 122. Like, this is a big 90 supply army. Oh my god, and Snow just whittling everything down, just like he's good at. Look at that, another siege tank falling. Scan trying to lay some offensive mines. Those aren't really going to be too helpful. Oh, follows that back and even gets the kill there. Third command center gets started. A much quicker third command center than the Apocalypse game, so at least there's that. Fourth Nexus has already started here for Snow down at 3 o'clock. And now Snow just starting to move across the map. Is he going to try to bust him? I don't think it's time yet. 132 is not a good supply for trying to kill your opponent. Normally, the earliest busts you'll ever see is like 160 supply. So we'll see if he waits for at least that, maybe more. Sometimes you just wait for like max out as well. Reaver's being dropped out, just trying to get some damage. Picks him up pretty quickly there. Is that not going to work out? Seemed like they might have taken a little bit of damage there as well. Stargate on the way. Now, I mean, it could be Carrier. I think it's going to be Arbiter, though. This feels like a good position to go Arbiter in and not Carrier. Carrier is a big transition and could allow Scan to come back a little bit more. And we don't see the Cybernex core spinning as well, which is kind of a big giveaway. Scan kind of doing a vertical defense here on that horizontal high ground. Kind of interesting to see the way he set that up. And look at that, the Scan actually just barely misses the Stargate. So he's not going to really be aware of that follow-up tech, at least as of yet. Double shuttle flying into the main base. There are a lot of missile turrets in here, so kind of the suicide shuttle here with those zealots to try to make way for the Reavers to come in. Reavers come in to help clean up. He knew the vultures were going to be coming. That's why he was getting out there ASAP. Ooh, very nice scarab right there. Slowing down some of these factories as well. Just dealing little bits of damage and being annoying. You know, oftentimes that's what the Reavers are for. Fifth Nexus gets started in the bottom right. So Snow right now is applying all sorts of economic pressure, not just through his harassment, but just via the fact that he's expanding so much. There's the Arbiter Tribunal up and ready. He is getting that +1 air attack as well, so ready for a transition later on. So, all right, Scan has a lot of factories. Okay, he's getting some good upgrades. I am, I'm not actually nervous for Snow, but I just do want to throw this out there. The fact that he's going to go Arbiter. So he opened DT drop, went into Reaver, went into Arbiter, and going to go into Carrier. So he's basically hitting everything that you can do, right? So everything at all, everything that there is. In the meantime, oh, nice catch on the probes. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. This head cold is having a hard time going away. But because he's doing like every single tech, sometimes that's too much. Sometimes that's too fancy. Sometimes that allows the Terran player to climb back into the game. Okay? So like, if the Arbiters don't do anything and he's trying to switch to Carriers and Scan just hits a mega push, like a super all-in push, sometimes that cleans everything up. Now the Scan goes down, he sees the Arbiter tech, he sees the upgrading +1 air attack. So if I were Scan here, I would wait for the Carrier switch. He does already have his 4th command center started. That 4th command looks like he wants to expand to 9 o'clock. Expanding to 12 in these particular positions is almost impossible. Protoss goes up ramps so well compared to Terran. It's really hard to defend up here. Now, he's laying a lot of mines. So actually, when you see him lay mines like that, I definitely think he's going to expand there. A bunch of Stargates going down for Snow in the bottom right. Dude, that is a lot of mines up there. My gosh. Scan getting up to a very reasonable supply at the moment. Single Arbiter comes out. Generally, when you go for an Arbiter into Carrier type of play, you want to hit a recall before the Carrier switch, or during the Carrier switch, rather, to slow Terran down, make them go back to their main base and kind of defend. And we'll see if that's going to be something he goes for. Obviously, we can't see like what upgrades he's getting or anything like that. Now, a lot of Siege Tanks coming down with the Vultures and Goliaths. Looks like he wants to cover up that 9 o'clock base. Snow's been killing off a lot of his own units, by the way. That's a very sneaky way to do it, because normally what happens is the Protoss player will attack in with a massive army and lose a bunch of it, and then go into carriers. And the thing is, you know when you've seen it spinning that when he spends a big chunk of army, okay, well, this is when the transition's happening. But if he's killing his own army off, that's a very tricky way to do it, because you may not be realizing that a bunch of carriers are being made, because you assume that he's still maxed out. He hasn't wasted any units. Why would you kill your own units as opposed to attacking and kill some of my units with your units? It's really for that surprise factor. So right now, Scan getting set up. He sets up a very powerful area in the middle. Wants to stop anything from coming in. Now, this is one of those sends where he's opening up supply, okay? If I'm Scan, I'm looking at that and saying, okay, the carrier switch is definitely coming. And here we go. Another attack up from Snow over here. He's trying to buy a little bit of time, keeping Scan busy. Scan moves down into the area, clears it pretty quickly. 3 add-ons there for Scan, looking strong. Double Stargate carrier down in the main, one up in the main and 2 down in the bottom right main. So Snow getting into those carriers. Scan has a very brief window now. He has about 2 minutes in which he can kind of do what he wants, right? And it's not that easy, obviously. It's not like do what you want, because he's not actually maxed out yet. Like he did take a bunch of damage early on. But like this is the weakest moment Snow will have for the rest of this game, right? If you let him get up to the 6 carriers, you're just going to be in trouble. Now, notice he's not spinning this Cybernetics core. I believe we saw another one that he had made. That's a tricky way to throw your opponent off the tracks that you're going carriers, is by making another Cybernetics core. Because anytime you see that spinning, you assume that carriers are on the mind. Okay, Snow right now just kind of moving his army around. Scan has gathered up what he has, which is an almost maxed out army. He's laying a ton of mines. A lot of Zealots coming out here. Already 3 carriers. Double Cybernetics core is down here spinning. He's going to have 5 or 6 carriers pretty soon here. And that's where it becomes really, really dangerous. Okay, so... yeah, Scan, I think, is waiting a little bit too long. Like, the push needed to start. Like, I think basically as soon as Snow started losing any units... Okay, he scans, he sees multiple carriers. Scan will unsiege now. You cannot wait. You simply cannot wait. If you wait, you lose. Carriers outscale mech. And so if you're going to get outscaled, you got to go and make your units count right then. So he has a lot of vultures, a lot of tanks. On the ground, Scan's army wins 100%. But the carriers can really change this. Also, the speed of the attack can change things dramatically as well. If Scan attacks really quick, really clumped, things like Psy Storms, Reavers, Mind Drags, Stasis can all be really, really powerful and get a lot of value against him. Now, Snow just kind of losing that shuttle. You can see Snow is actually down a little bit in supply. That's fine, though. That doesn't really matter right now. A lot of cannons being made. A ton of carriers are out, but they don't have full interceptors. Scan needs to be making nothing but Goliaths and charging forward ASAP. Now, he has this vessel on the front. If he can hit an EMP on that Arbiter, that's huge. And in fact, he does. He gets stasis, but that's okay. He has plenty of scans right now. He has 4 bases. He has 3 gases. Scan actually has an opportunity here. Now, how many Goliaths does he have? Oh, God, he only has 3 Goliaths with this army. Well, that's not going to stop 5 carriers, unfortunately. Oh, man. Well, this is how you lose. This is how you lose a TVP for sure. Snow just getting so many free kills here. Scan almost finding his opportunity to come back. But when you start seeing, like, thousands of minerals and gas being lost by Terran completely for free to carriers, there's not a lot else. There's not a lot else you can do, right? Snow's got a reasonable bank. Yes, Scan has a bank as well. Yes, Scan's dealing some damage, but these tanks have to run. They have to run. You know, like, he does a little bit, but what? He's going to lose like 7 more tanks running out of here. He didn't even kill that Nexus. The Vultures can stay. Like, who cares if he's going to target down Vultures? Vultures are basically free. It looks like a command center might be floating up to 12 o'clock as well. Scan definitely making Goliaths. I'm not sure exactly how many he has, but the amount of damage dealt here is really, really crucial. Few mines there, collecting some damage on the units that rally out. Snow moving up with his army. He's taken 6 o'clock during this time as well. So he's got like 8 bases right now. 8 bases against Scan's 4. Well, now I guess 5. He has floated a command center up to that 12 o'clock base, and he is making one in the bottom left. So like Scan is getting the type of economy he needs to be able to do something here, but will he be able to do something here is that question. And I think he's already lost too many of his valuable units. He's down at 144 supply. You can see his Goliath count is not anywhere near what he needs it to be. The carrier count is getting completely out of hand, and he's just targeting these down so quickly. But backs those Dragoons up. He doesn't want those Dragoons taking free shots from the siege tanks. Kill off the small amount of Goliaths, pick off the siege tanks, and then you can move forward once again. And that's exactly what Snow is doing here. He's doing a great job clearing everything. Scan has to know that he is very close to death right now. You know, he can't get the number of Goliaths out all at once to deal with this. Against this many carriers, you actually need like more, like 24 Goliaths would kind of be evenish against this. GG is called, and that is going to be that. Snow going to go ahead and take that series 2-1. It was a great series though. Very well played on both sides. I'm sad to see Scan eliminated, but of course Snow going to the top 4 of round 1 here in the Premier Star League should be no big surprise to anyone. So yeah, you can see him taking a sip of his soda there. Scan, time to unplug, man. Wallet, phone back in your pockets, unplug your keyboard, and that is going to be that. Guys, I hope that you have enjoyed. Please, again, now that you've watched the whole thing, let me know. Do you prefer the Korean commentary kind of underneath my commentary with that game sound, or was it better before when I muted all that and played game music? I think everyone's going to have a slightly different opinion on that, and maybe even the balancing levels, but please do leave a comment below. I am trying to make this as good as possible for people. PSL is a really great tournament, and I definitely think that there should be an English cast for it. So let me know, and yeah. Up next, we will be going into the round of 4 here in the first round of the first season of the PSL. Guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the round of 4.